What's up? Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. This is Eccentric RockStar'Seed, and I'm here to produce another intuitive hit. Keep in mind, it's advice, it's love, it's counsel, support, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you name it, I got you. So I'm being called to speak to someone specific. And if this person is timeless, all my readings are timeless. So when this particular person comes across this reading, that's that pivotal point. This person has a question, when will I receive an answer? When will I know how she feels, or what she's thinking, or am I enough? Somebody's wondering if they're enough. They're questioning their own self-worth. And this is because this person, divine femme, has triggered divine masculine's emotional traumas and mental traumas, because emotional and mental traumas tie in together. So he's questioning his self-worth. He didn't realize he had an issue with self-worth. So he's somewhere in retreat, walking around with the weight of the world on his shoulders, not creating strong enough boundaries about what didn't go right in the past. So I'm being called to tell you to let it go. It's not yours to carry. You don't need to carry it all. You're no good to no one if you're running on empty fumes and bogged down by the weight of the world. You're being called to look after your own well-being. But here's the thing with that. Don't wait till everything gets so extreme to the point where you're burnt out. Now you're forced into retreat because you done gave so much of yourself away. Stop carrying everybody's problems on your shoulders. You're always showing up for other people. You never show up for yourself. Okay? Put your own oxygen mask on first to save yourself. And in these changing times, it's hard not to feel overwhelmed by what's going on in the real world with everything that's going on in the United States of America alone. But I'm talking about everywhere. There's problems everywhere. However, it's not your place to take on everybody's problems, because now you're at an energetic depletion, respectfully speaking. But at the same time, I thank you. If no one else tells you thank you for caring so much, I'm telling you thank you. I care. I appreciate you caring so much. You're trying to build a better world and ease everybody's life. That is your purpose. That's actually your north node. And you're just amazing. I'm called to tell you that, and that's incredible. But the way you're going about doing it, it's your delivery. It's unsustainable. And that isn't to say that you should just ignore when people come to you, like for counsel or for help or anything like that, or just ignore the world's problems and become unconscious. Rather, you just have to learn how to establish clear boundaries so that you're not constantly being taken out energetically. Like, I feel like you're assassinated a lot energetically trying to help other people. So instead of digesting, what is it? Information that's not really necessary. You know how you got to clear out your computer because it starts creating viruses because it's got too much. It's just eating up too much toxic shit. It's just eating up too much space. It's just eating away at you, like, spiritually. For example, as soon as you wake up, you reach for your phone. Say a prayer first. First of all, just digest the fact that you even woke up this morning, and really just ponder that you've been woken up this morning. Like deep breathing, exercise, just be for a second and embody that. And then you can take on the world. Stop and take care of you. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm being called to, I'm going to read something to you. Okay? Because this is like, it's getting to be too much. And as a counterpart, you pick up on what the other person is going through, especially if that's really your other half of your soul. You have you I mean, I ask, how are you doing? Have you given another the power to influence your sense of self-worth or your direction in life? You're being called to choose with care whom you allow to get close enough to you and to guide you. You know, it's obvious and easy to forget that we accept guidance or influence from other people. You know, we want to make sure that they're living their best life and being the kindest of people that they can be, because we know we embody those ways, those traits, those supernatural talents and abilities that we aspire to be. You know, we are trying to teach people how to be more like us. You know, you can learn from and be inspired by other people at the same time. But you got to stay true to yourself. You know, don't allow anyone else's voice to become more important to you than the divine voice of yourself. So what the hell does that mean? You know, spiritually. First of all, you are a gelato. You're full of flavor. You have many layers, many units, many masses to the conglomerate. And some people may try to persuade you that one particular flavor about yourself is better than the rest. So, you know, the best thing to do is just ignore those people, you know, with such an unadventurous palate. You know, they try to convince you that, oh, those palettes are like mundane or just not right. These are more vibrant. This will be how you, they try to dictate to you and make you conform to society bluntly, you know, but you're just eccentric. You're a divine being. You're an array of sacred scrumptiousness, bluntly put. Sometimes, you know, you're called to be kind to others, while other times you're meant to be fierce and feisty. You know, sometimes you'll be sweet, other times you'll be super strong, super independent. Sometimes you'll be very stubborn and beyond determined, like just super determined. And sometimes you'll be all class, other times you'll be like a wolf, you know, like a hungry lion. And those rare people who accept, who, you know, those rare people who accept themselves unconditionally will be able to accept you, all the parts of you, unconditionally. You know, and others who struggle to accept themselves may struggle to accept you. And even though you understand that or understand that about other people, doesn't mean that it's your problem to take on, to the point of energetic depletion. They may want you to behave a certain way. They may feel embarrassed or afraid of what others might think, so they, you know, project that onto you, or they'll try to censor you in some fashion or another. You know, maybe they think they're helping you. Really, they come off like they're helping you, but really they're helping themselves. You know, those asshole users. They aren't quite ready to be free and true to themselves. You know, maybe one day they might, but in the meantime, you won't be helping them. You're called to get away from them. You trying, you know, or you know, they trying to change who you authentically are, but you're worth so much more, way more. You know, you have way more to offer than to those who only want to take a unit from you instead of embracing all of you. You know, so you really should be careful choosing who you choose to share yourself with. You deserve to be loved for all of who you are, you know, with confidence. You ain't supposed to be taking no shit off nobody. So feelings of inadequacy have been arising. You know, it's just like you've been around. This divine feminine. I'm sorry, divine masculine has been clearly, and you know, he's been in a lot of karmic relationships, whether it be family, love, business, friendship, doesn't matter, companionship, and he's trying to, what he has with his true counterpart is when they are going through conflict, they move closer through conflict, where he's trying to teach other people to be like that, and it's causing more conflict, and they're actually called to separate because they're karmic. You can't expect everybody to be just like you. They're not like you. You can set the example, you know, but like I said, it goes back to those boundaries. Okay? Black tourmaline, malachite, uh, golden healer, and sodalite. Those are crystals that that embody the energy to kind of protect or ward off negative people. I was called to say nigger, but the textbook dictionary term meaning for that word is a person who lacks knowledge. It has nothing to do with culture of any sort. You know what I mean? It's just a person who lacks knowledge. So now that we cleared that up, authenticity. You got the Lover's card. The Lover's card does represent a person who's true to themselves. It represents authenticity, but it also represents choices in other lovers. So he may have been, he felt, this is a person who felt so serene and so secure in his relationship with his counterpart that he independently, he separated himself from her or him, take it how it resonates, that he started entertaining other options, and not in a hurtful way, because the divine femme is not hurt at all. She's fiercely indeed. They're counterparts. She has no qualm about what he needs to go through to get to where he needs to be. And he respects her the same way. Like, they're in love with each other, even if it's not romantic, even though they're not interacting with each other romantically, is how I mean it. So he's been entertaining different karmic relationships, and it's well-rounded. It's not just about lovers, other lovers. It's about friends, family, just people who just no longer serves you. And just these experiences have been like, this just has him questioning, or just, it's really just God working in mysterious ways, because it's redirecting him back to his counterpart, because it's putting them through that dark night of the soul, as they say. You're clearing out a lot of karmic debt through these weird, in a sense, like these unorthodox friendships and relationships that you used to hold in such a high regard, but that's not the person you are anymore. You're better friends with yourself now. That's what I'm called to say. Like, you really honor deep connections. You're only into deeper connections, spiritual, mental, or emotional, to be honest. So this is a person, he's having a conversation with, like, a leader of the community. Could be a minister, a priest, or somebody, somebody well respected in the community. And he's having this pivotal conversations. Like, I keep thinking about this particular person talking about his counterpart, and how much he values their friendship. He's really in love with this person. And the truth of the matter is, he was asked, what is the truth of your relationship? And you got Ajna, Vena, and Prana from my yogic deck. And what these cards represent, Ajna is your third eye. That's your he's been met with a lot of mental clarity about his counterpart through these dramatic experiences. And he's called to, instead of doing things, you're called to embody. It's probing him to embody. How should I say it? I'm trying to figure out my words. Embody what he does, what you do, like how you feel. Embody how you feel. If you're a deep feeler, you're a deep connection, like, embody that. If you're a swimmer, you embody being in the water. If you're a dancer, you embody the dance. It's like that. So you're called to be more flexible and creative. It's no difference between the doer and the deed. You merge as one. So the intention is to know the truth. What is the real authentic truth of this connection? But I'm going to read off these crystals. What black tourmaline does, it's an energetic bodyguard. It acts as a psychic shield. It protects you from destruction, a lot of negativity, and psychic attacks. And it's excellent at establishing boundaries, and it deflects that unwanted mental energy, that mental conflict. It's also used for grounding and stabilizing your foundation. It keeps you down to earth. It keeps you grounded, and it makes sure both feet are planted on the ground in your decisions and your actions in life. So with it absorbs a lot of fear, and it transmutes those negative emotions into the positive energy, and it balances your root chakra. which is one of the cards I got too when asked if he loves his counterpart. That's why that black tourmaline is here. Because you're called to, you turned your back on a particular responsibility, something you knew you were supposed to be doing with this particular counterpart, to go do other things. But it's all the ego act based off the ego, based off of past traumas, unhealed traumas. Solidite is about logic, instincts, and rationality, and it's known to clear the mental confusion, and it enhances analytical and creative problem solving. So for those who are on the sensitive side of that spectrum, it helps ease your anxiety around your emotions and calms inclinations towards those flighty feelings. It provides insight, the truth that makes sense, not just logically, but also intuitively. And it calls you back to your animal instincts. And that's a lot. I hear a lot of that energy as I was like sorting through a lot of these different cards and things, just to kind of get a feel of what I'm feeling, what I'm picking up on. It embodies, you're called to emerge, immense, immerse. Immerse. IMMERSE, immerse. You're not meant to do right now. You're meant to feel. Do what feels good to you. That's what it means when it comes to that animal instinct. And it's guiding you, to trust your bodily sensations. So that somatic psychic sense, listen to how your body responds to different people, places, things. Like what feels right for you. And the messages from your physical self is constantly, how it sends those shock waves to your brains. Your malachite is about cleansing that trauma, that intensity, and that transformation. And this is a stone that has such strong energy, it takes no prisoners. At least when it comes to that spiritual journey, it's a powerful conduit for energy. It cleanses that emotional trauma. It cleanses the body and the organs from that emotional trauma, whether it's from this life or a past life. It could be a teacher of emotional responsibility. You can be called to do Reiki, or either if you're not teaching it, you should be doing it. It asks that you take accountability for your feelings, and it helps you release those patterns that no longer serve you. Hence those choices, those karmic relationships. It looks deep within the world. You look at it from other dimensions of yourself. Hence that deep connection, like going more in depth. Like you have a closer relationship with God because of all these traumatic experiences, and that's him working in mysterious ways as well. And it brings your subconscious to light, so to speak. And then my other stone that I mentioned is the golden healer. That's about abundance, expansion, golden rays. This is a stone that's about the highest form of healing for your identity and your self-worth. Very important, your self-worth. Releasing that ancestral trauma that may have affected you and being passed down, through family lineage. So as I was shuffling through my Starseed deck, I got all paths lead to home, just like I got the one for karmic relationships and the weight of the world. So when you put that together, you're being called to turn your gaze within. Okay, lay down the foundation. You're laying down the foundation. And it's called to look at these karmic experiences from a fresh set of eyes, with the wisdom, the innate wisdom from within, that everybody who played a significant part in your life, every aspect of it, the right, the wrong, the indifferent, the traumatic, it was all a divine plan. You're laying down those foundations. They all play a part. Nobody's more significant than the other, is how I mean that. And then along with the lovers, I got the Ace of Swords, that clarity. You're not being blocked, you clearing out a lot of mental confusion, because that Ace of Swords was clarifying the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is that devil energy, that worry, that anxiety, because these feelings of inadequacy are arising, and you're trying to suppress them through different people, places, things, and they're all karmic experiences. They're all brought to the surface for you to heal them, all because you and your counterpart are in sync with each other, and the way y'all come together is not necessarily romantic, but it may have started as something like a business partnership or something, and y'all basically realize your higher calling through each other. Like y'all very familiar to each other, so it felt like, it's not like it feels like home. It's about that journey to your higher self. So it could feel like your friendship feels kindred, but your that's the other half of your soul. The tumultuous part of it, the tumultuous part of it is really just the negativity that's in your life and how you need to clear it out by establishing firmer boundaries. Your partner's at a soul level. Okay, let's keep going. You're being called to stop overthinking. Keep facing your north node. You're already doing it, you know. And this brings out feelings like you're longing for home. You are an original light worker. You're an original light worker, and those feelings of inadequacy is because you know you don't fit in. The environment you created for yourself was really based off of illusions and material gain, like material world. Like you're spiritually called to separate from the materialism of your life, you know, and set those boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Stop letting people energy harvest and take everything from you. Okay, you're called to be grounded. You're highly sensitive. Connect with nature. I feel like you already have been connecting with nature. That's how you're called. And these are things that you have actually observed from your counterpart. How your counterpart stays grounded. Okay. What connects me with these cards, I like it, is the tea roses, the pink tea roses. Is that they're all over these deck of cards, and it's spiritual because my grandparents' house, they had a big bushel planted in their landscaping. These big pink luscious, like there was really huge, luminous, like pink tea. It was strong in smell and everything, and I would just take them. It's like, you know how you take a flower off the bushel, and I would just like buff my face with them as a child. Like it just the smell. It's just very spiritual. It's just connecting. And I think about it now. It's like that was spiritual. That could have been like my ancestors connecting with me through those flowers. Be quiet. And your counterpart, watch how you mother yourself. You know, you're called to rest. You know, deep replenishment. You know, you're a strong prayer warrior. This could be the man or woman. One of you are super, super connected with the Most High, and you pray a lot. You know, you're called to rest. You know, life's a work, not a season. Get off the treadmill, so to speak. That inner temple, that devotion. Just watching your counterpart, the way they handle the different challenges that they face. Like you witness them face obstacles, and the way they handled it. You know, you got to tune into the portal of your heart. You have to follow what your heart is telling you. Hence, do what makes you feel good. You got to embody that animal instinct to be able to get away from what's not aligned in your life, what needs to change. You know, those distorted, those illusions, the things that are not real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. You know, it helps change the energy. Your counterpart inspires you to dance with life, to change the energy, to play. You actually inspired your counterpart to do the same, not to take life so serious, to celebrate. That was the healing elements that came with you. The way you represented yourself was like real lighthearted, real free, real playful. But now, the tower is here. You got to get rid of the illusions, and really embody what you need to be doing. What are you clinging on to? That false lifestyle, that false evidence appearing real. So, hold on a second. I have a good memory. When I accidentally mixed my cards up, I had something laid out because it helps clarify a message that I already received. But he's somebody who knows exactly who you are. If you are ever wondering, does he know the prominent role I'm supposed to play in his life? He does. He always knew who you were. That initiation, that rites of passage. He always knew that he had to cross that threshold. He knew you had to cross that threshold. You had to trust those somatic senses I was telling you about. Like he went off the path of what he was supposed to be doing with you to go play with his friends. To just simplify it, put it in a way where the context that makes sense to anyone. And those friends were the karmic lessons that was meant to just be there for a season to prepare him for you, for y'all union and what y'all supposed to do. But held back by fear. He couldn't. You took a leap. One of you took a leap. One of you were held back. Okay, like I said, take a break. Life's a work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. It's like the things, when you have to keep up with those illusions, it has you running like you're on a hamster wheel, and your counterpart mirrors you, cause you to look at what you've been trying to suppress through a bunch of bullshit and fake lifestyle. And your ancestors have always been with you. I hear somebody's grandfather who has passed on, he's always with you. It's like, well, how were you called to step up and lead? It's like, what are you prepared to do? Have you answered to your deepest calling? To break those ancestral patterns, to stop perpetrating, just to keep a false lifestyle, just to maybe have a higher status in society, raise the status of your family name, the bullshit that comes with that, the politics. There's a lot of politics that come with that, because America's a business, it's not a culture. So you're called to really go home, retreat. And I feel like the counterpart has retreated home to be with family, to spend more time around family, to get grounded, to stop struggling through so many identity crises, to be more true to himself, to heal, to grow, to become that teacher or that priest or priestess, that beauty, embody that beauty and that devotion, to reconnect with who you truly are and what you're supposed to be doing, because clearly that third eye is open, that root chakra is unblocked. So you have that, you're not in that devil energy anymore. You're not in that negative. You're not stressed. You don't have anxiety. You're not suffering through anything that lowers that vibration and comes with all that negativity, or embodying that. You're not speaking negatively. You're not thinking negatively to speak negatively, to threaten your spirit, your spiritual growth, or to bruise your own spirit by thinking and talking negatively and feeling negatively. You're operating with an open heart now. It's not all mental anymore, It's not mental abuse. Y'all heard one of you or both of you has been inflicting a lot of mental abuse on yourself with the way that you've been maneuvering in your own life. Like, get out here and get out of your own way. It's in your Akashic records. Like, your guidance, your lifestyle, what you're called to do is being divinely guided. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can alter it. All they can do is distract you and slow you down from it, but they can't stop it fundamentally. That great gathering, those intuitive hits is hitting. They're speeding up at a cellular level, to be honest, and you're reconnecting with your soul tribe. You know, you've been training for this for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You know, you're meant to be in that leadership position, that priest or priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? One of you has definitely put the shoes on. You know, pulled yourself up by your boots and put those shoes on, and is taking the lead. So that's an energetic shift, and it's pulling your counterpart to go do the same. You know, calling your tribe, your soul family. So you get there. It's like, remember those two-way pagers? That's the vision I got. You don't have to do it alone. You know, I used to two-way page people in the earlier millennium, and that's how it is. It's like that counterpart feels that energetic shift, and it's like, okay, it's time to stop playing around. It's time to do my homework and get my life together, get my spirituality together. Protection. Call back your power, cut the cords. It's time to stop playing around. Playtime's over. Like somebody who was probably embodied the lifestyle of a player, so to speak. And it's just enough is enough. You hit that rock bottom. Surrender. You're in that receptive energy. Just say yes. Because you're birthing a new age. You're birthing new creations. That what you saw in your third eye, you're bringing it into that's your life. That's your whole world. It's a whole nother world is what you saw in that astrological realm. That's you're meant to bring it into reality, into a tangible sense. Okay? A double mission. The whole purpose of it is to uplift humanity. Like I said, you already knew you're supposed to teach people to be a lot more like you, but it has to come with strict boundaries. And that's where you and your counterpart are starting to even the plane with. That spiritual awakening. It was like a caterpillar. I see the butterflies now, because that transition from a caterpillar to a butterfly is painful. So that energetic upgrade is you can never go back to who you once was, who you knew yourself to be. It's like your destined life versus your fated life is what it's giving me. You're starting to trust your path. This is like the Eight of Cups in a tarot deck. How that, if you can't see it on camera, but you see a person walking from all the way back there and walking towards. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So this person, the counterpart was trying to convince himself, you know, these are my true friends. This is what I know. If anybody supports me, it's them. He didn't believe in his counterpart at first, but it was all lies. It was all bullshit. He was just trying to convince himself that this person is against him and not for him, as a cop-out to continue doing what he's been doing. There you go, your transformation. You know, things that accelerated level, that deep healing. But what these friends couldn't do was give sound advice, or they didn't have a remedy, or even the right energy. You know, they couldn't support. They didn't have the ability to support through healing your heart, healing those traumas. They only agitated them. And then once he got that mental clarity, he got out of that Nine of Swords devil energy. He got the mental clarity that these people, places, things are keeping, or it's like burdens. They're weighing you down. They have you're like iRobot, as they say. We're trying to keep up with having them in your life. And it's like, well, wait a minute. When I was around my counterpart, you know, those issues came to the surface, but it also came with a lot of deep healing. You know, what that person was saying, they were always right. So it made more sense to do what my counterpart was advising me to do. Okay? So where are you called to journey to? You're called to go within, so to speak. It's a lot of water in this picture. There's a lot of water in that picture. So you're called to heal. Like that open heart, deep connection, that deep connection with water. Whether you're called to move near water, go visit somebody by water, you know somebody who lives by water, your counterpart lives by water, you know, or you just meant to submerge, just be in water. And you get your downloads from the Most High connects to you and speaks to you through your third eye. So as you start to learn what your calling is, you know, the advice is to answer to it. that ever unfolding role. So I feel like it's kind of going back and forth between how one counterpart, the masculine, was called to grow and find his way back to this connection. All these different twists and turns through each individual's lifestyle and experiences, all paths lead to home. So everything that each of you went through is leading you right back to each other, because I feel like both of you abandoned this connection because one left first, that runner chaser part of it, and then it caused the other person to abandon it as well, because it's like, well, if it's not meant to be, let me go do something else with my life. Let me go do other things that are like a higher calling, because one is more advanced. One is always more advanced than the other. So releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives is, cleaning up those that karmic shit. Like, let me clear out my closet. Like Eminem, do what lights me up. To do that, you gotta change your mind. But it's more than just change your mind. It's healing, which is cool. But this spiritual journey is different from healing your mind. As a starseed, that's more spiritual. And it's more so answering to your higher calling. It's not meant for you to be a 9 to 5 or do anything that's traditional. You're not meant for any kind of what's considered normal. That's not you. You're everything but normal. So that's a no. No, you're not called to do that. You're called to look at your relationships, how they're a currency of life, and it raise awareness of your soul's agreements, and your impact on other people's life. You're called to be more responsible as to how you show up in people's life and how you impact and affect other people's life. And that's in a positive light. The only negative aspect of it is you acting like you don't know that you have these abilities, these supernatural abilities to help people, but you're misusing them. And you were dimming your light at one time, one or both of you. You have great power, so it comes with a greater responsibility. So you're called to balance that masculine and feminine energy, and once you surrender to it, it heals your heart chakra, it opens your heart back up to both your physical and spiritual aspects of yourself. It reconnected you, and reminded you you're a pillar of light. Your vibration is super high, and you're the teacher. This is what you do. You're creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Like I said, those downloads that you received, it's just meant for you to bring it into the earthly realm with the help of your ancestors, of course. So the moral of it all is to share your voice. Come out of the cave, that persecution, that expression, all the things that you probably was once ashamed of, or just didn't believe that it should be handled in a way. It was just believed that it should have been handled in such a catastrophic way, like show business. It's just the example it keeps showing me is being in show business, the alter ego that comes with that, the prestige and the facade that comes with that. Not to say that you don't really live that lifestyle, you don't have the perks that comes with that lifestyle, but it's just teaches you to pretend that everyth's cool and Rico Suave, when behind the scenes, when the lights go off and the curtains go down, it's all those traumas and hardships, they resurface. So when asked, it goes back to, it's like you go back in time, like when you're sitting down having a conversation, whether you're making a confession or just praying to the Most High, or just having a conversation with somebody in high rank in the community. He's asked, do you love your counterpart? Like, you found your inspiration by raising your vibration with your counterpart. So the answer is yeah. Yeah, he does. Or she does. He's like, it's not something you can explain. You just merge as one. There's no difference between the doer and the deed. I've become the words that I write down in my journal with the intention to know the truth. One was in love, one was unattainable, but the other one was in love, even though the person was unattainable. And that the one that was unattainable was the super spiritual one. So the more grounded one knew that they had to become more spiritual, but they needed to ground that other person to get the person to realize that they was in love with him. So the grounded one had to become more spiritual, had to realign with their true self, their higher calling, their north node, and then they became an energetic match. And then the one that was unattainable fell in love as well. I heard It's Been You All the Time by Anita Baker. It's been months. I hear the timeline. It's been months. Like, y'all been separated. Y'all been working on yourself for months, maybe a little over a year. You have helped me heal my root chakra. Starts with to heal, like, and that's the healing those abusive ways that you've been practicing, that you've been taught, that's been instilled in you since for generations. You healed it because you can't even be in love with yourself to be in love with somebody else. Really, it's just being in love with yourself. That's why the Lovers is here. That's why you have a twin. That's why you met your twin in this life, because you're closing out a lot of karmic experiences to become one and become authentic with yourself again. So you're meant to come in contact with your twin to stay. Because y'all actually teamed up with y'all actually are meant to team up with each other. Y'all already have teamed up with each other, and then you were made to go in separation. So one is in retreat with family, healing family issues, healing generational curses. Actually, both of you are, and both of you have. In another reading, I said it's time to get married. You are going to get married. You are meant to be married. And you're using your free will to answer to your higher calling, which is going to put you in alignment with each other. You're going to become more of an energetic match to be married, not to be romantic, but to become one with yourself. Like, words can't even articulate what I'm saying, what I'm feeling about all of this. All it is a relationship with God. That's the point of marriage anyway, is to have that friendship with God. It's your key to the Jannah. Jannah is heaven. That's Arabic for heaven. But sharing your voice is your teaching mechanism, is your guru. Your guru is your teaching mechanism as to how other people can become in alignment with themselves, becoming closer with the Most High, so He can open up their hearts and provide that mental clarity there. Third eye chakra, root chakra, heart chakra, things that have just been blocked by way of generational curse for so many years. And you know, in a tangible sense, it's like, oh, you met your true match, but it's not meant to be surface level. It's all spiritual, is what I'm trying to get people to understand. It's your soul partner. It's an eternal connection. And like I said, One was unattainable because they were more spiritually evolved. They did more work. So they had to go through the same thing the other counterpart is going through. And that other person has to represent what you represent. So if you're best friends with the Most High, for example, for all reality, in terms of reality, that person has to embody that as well. So y'all leading each other back on that straight and narrow path. And it was all those karmic experiences was meant to do that. It led y'all right back to each other. Again, words can't describe that spiritual evolution. It just looks like a couple on a surface level, but really it's your twin. Even though you hear some people say, "Oh, I married my twin." That's because they did a lot more work to become one with each other. Somebody's meant to express this, like teach it on a broader platform, while the other is meant to the counterpart, the masculine is going to join forces with the feminine as the material to teach it, the life experience. You can only criticize the separate, like a lot of people teach, they know the separation part of it, and very few people know the union, the family orientation part of it, the physical family orientation part of it. But you've always been spiritually connected. So you're being called to teach it from the physical union part of it. Even though it's still the same spiritual, it's still the same education, but just the different phase of it. That's what it is. Okay, I need to stop right here because the way it's meant to be practiced to be able to express more. So I hope this gave somebody clarity. It did. This really just spoke to somebody in specific, that they are coming into union. They are meant to be married, but it's not meant to be like romanticized, although these things are happening. This is all for it's all meant to uplift humanity and teach people about their higher self. But people get hung up on the romanticized part. They don't get it yet. So you'll be taking baby steps. You'll be teaching it in baby steps. You know the separation part? Okay. Now you're about to learn the what it takes to come in the physical, what life after the separation part. Life after death, which is the death and rebirth, the darkness to light. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.